6:30, I will call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call of supervisors, please. Sorry.
That's my fault. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Okay, Chairman O'Day is excused. Moving on to citizens' comments. Are there any citizens wishing to speak? Any citizens wishing to speak? Any citizens wishing to speak? Hearing none, citizens' comments are closed. It is on.
Just get closer to it.
Okay, announcements of the chairman. Is that better, Supervisor Decker?
No, it's not coming through it. Do you have your mic on? No. Can you hear mine?
Okay. How's that? Is that better? Yeah. Better? Okay. Announcements of the chairman. Those supervisors bringing a spouse or guest to the WCA conference in September, please send your check for the registration to the county clerk as soon as possible. Registration will be sent on June 21st. And then also I'd like to say, welcome back to Chambers. It's great to be home. All right. Moving on to supervisor reports. Where's my number one? Supervisor Grady, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair Lady. Is my microphone working? Can you hear me?
Yes.
As you may expect in Public Works, it's been quite a busy and active beginning of the season. We've had very, very good weather cooperating with us for our construction tasks. We're looking probably at some of the bigger projects being County Highway S. And as you know, there's ongoing work there for the second phase of that. The entire project, of course, will not be done until the fall of this year, but they have been making very good progress. You may have noticed that Highway S is closed at County N. It's a detour on to N, and that will be ongoing for the foreseeable future until they get that other part done. County F out in the west end, we have some prep work. Carroll Road, Pond Road, milling and asphalt paving are going to be starting at the end of this month, so that is kind of a area that's wrapping up as well. We have the County K project with 60th Street from County Highway H to the Union Pacific Railroad. It's actually from 94th Court to the Union Pacific Railroad. That is going to be construction for next season. That'll be the summer of '22. The bike wayfinding sign project countywide, Supervisor Nordigan's had some interest in that. They've been making some progress, and it says here in my little notes that of the scheduled project, the majority of it is done. They still have some to do, and it should be completed by August of this year. Moving on, County Y, which is 22nd Avenue, and County Highway A. That's a four-way stop. That will eventually be a roundabout, but that'll be a next year project. County Highway H, this is kind of a big project. Illinois State Line to State Highway 165. They are going to be doing construction on that very soon. It will be inconvenient to travel in that area, but still there should be traffic maintained in either direction with maybe sporadic road closures, but it shouldn't be a permanent closure by all means. Couple other ones on our highway list is the KR Enhancement Projects, the section from County Highway H to State Highway 31, which is Green Bay Road. That's under construction, and that will not be done till the fall of next year. That's the fall of '22. State Highway 50, it's a mess. It's a mess. It's a big mess. Basically, it's 2 lanes of traffic, 1 in each direction, from the western frontage road all the way out to the western edge of Kenosha County. As soon as the immediate project gets wrapped up, which involves laying some very large gas pipe mains, natural gas pipe mains, then in the village of Paddock Lake, they're going to be doing their own reconstruction, or actually the state will probably be doing it because it's a state project, redoing those different lanes. So it's not a good travel situation. You can see much more increased traffic on the alternate routes. County Highway K, County Highway N, there's just a lot of alternate routes being used. I think that pretty much wraps it up for highways. Public Works, we're looking at golf. Golf is just cranking right along. All kinds of good news there in terms of operations. Course playability is very good. They've had to pump an excessive amount of water to keep the courses irrigated. But they've had equipment demo days out there, club fittings. Staffing has been good. They started very early to try to get enough staff to be able to run the courses effectively. And it's just a good success story out there, so we're happy with that. We have the Public Works and Facilities detail about this building, Kenosha County Administration Building. We're on the 3rd phase of 4, I believe, phase 3, which is replacing the heat pumps in this building, which has to do with the circulation of air and making sure that it's comfortable in the summertime and the winter as well. Detention Center, exterior sealants, that project's been out for bid. Berglund got that. That's the contractor. $200,000 project. And that is where the precast panels that form that building have a special elastomeric caulk that has to be put in place, and they're doing that. Also, KCDC Piping and Coupling Project Phase 2, $180,000. Second phase, Lee was the high bidder on that contract. Still looking at this area downtown, we have security modifications for K. Kevin Molinaro. The bidder on that was Berglund, and they think they'll have that completed by the end of next month. And some of the ideas are making their, modifications to make the security a little bit enhanced for some of the transaction windows. So, for example, county clerk, treasurer, that type of thing, on the first floor below us, that will be more, shall we say, secure than it has been in the past. You've seen the demolition project here to our west. The building is down. That'll be a parking lot when the rubble is all cleared away, and we have an addition there. We're doing some HVAC replacements at KCDC. We had some water infiltration at Kemper. Those are just kind of little spotty patchwork repairs. And that concludes it for that particular phase. The last one I'll dwell upon, I'll try to be brief here because I know it's a lot of material, is we have our parks, and we have a lot of positive things happening there. We had our most recent meeting at the Pringle Nature Center, which is a beautiful place. If you've not been there, it's wonderful to take your family, take your little tour around there and see the beautiful area that has the ropes course. Supervisor Decker, you went on the ropes course, didn't you, at one point? Yeah. Veterans Memorial Park, that's got some action happening out there. They actually have a dry hydrant that is able to have water from the lake at the Veterans Park be accessed by area fire departments. So if they got a call and they had to go and have an emergency ability to get water, they can now do that there. Pike River restoration is going on at Pets. We've got a contractor on the phase that they're involved with there. Summer youth employment has been down. We're not getting as many summer youth as we'd had in the past, and there's a variety of reasons for that, COVID notwithstanding, but it still is perking along to a certain extent. We have some summer events that are happening at Pets, quite a little agenda, which you can read up on. I'll not give you all the details here. And the UW Parkside Petrifying Springs Trail has really come along in terms of getting some volunteer work from the interested user parties, the people that are runners, joggers, mountain bikers. They are pitching in to actually make this whole thing happen. And that is my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Grady. Supervisor Boyd Frederick, you have the floor.
Thank you. Two things on some memos that Judiciary Law and Finance Administration received. When it comes to special assignment wages, for sergeants and lieutenants who accept special shift assignments for outside salary responsibilities for outside events that are paid for by the event promoter, those can receive time and a half. Will end as of 12/31/22. Also, for special corrections supervisors and admission release, when there is high demand and creates a significant number of overtime shifts, supervisors can receive 2 supervisor shifts per pay period. Special assignment wage will be time and a half. This also will end at 10/31/22. Also, you have been provided with 2 pictures right now of the restraint chair. I provide them right there it's at the Jail Detention Center. Right now, Captain Eric Klimhapper is present this evening. First of all, this restraint chair is not used often. This restraint chair is used when an inmate is considered to be a safety risk to themselves or other inmate. This chair is on wheels, and the inmate is restrained with straps at their hands, legs, thighs, and chest. It is used for inmates who are considered to be suicidal, out of control, or this is what officers need them to do. In the corrections world, failure to do what a corrections officer asks you to do is a form of resistance. Officers at the time of the booking must take certain items from an inmate. Those items include shoes, shoelaces, belts, hooded sweatshirts, and with strings. This is required because an inmate is placed in a holding area with other inmates. All of these items could present a safety hazard to inmates or others. Upon placement in the restraint chair, the inmate is screened immediately by a medical professional. Every 2 hours, the inmate is offered bathroom and water breaks. At that time, they are screened again by the medical professional. All corrections officers are trained as first responders, and medical professionals are RNs and LPNs and are qualified EMTs. Also, when a person is booked in a jail, they have extensive mental health screenings taking place. These screenings are available during a person's time in incarceration. Also, when an inmate is placed in a restraint chair, they are monitored by camera and are constantly checked on every 15 minutes. All of the checks are done by a correction officer and are documented. I did this report because it was requested not only by 1 supervisor, but by 2 supervisors. Is there any questions? Okay, thank you.
Supervisor Frederick, are you going to have a demonstration on the chair?
Not a demonstration. no,
Are they going to answer any questions that supervisors may have?
Well, Captain Klinkhammer is here. He can answer them much better than I can.
Okay. Any questions from the floor? All right, hearing none, anything else, Supervisor Frederick?
No, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Supervisor Rodriguez, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to take this time to address a few things. First, I want to thank District Attorney Gravely for taking the time to meet with me yesterday to show me the improvements that have been done to his building, and then further explain some of the incoming improvements, the security modifications that will be done to the Molinaro building. And then I wanted to address a few city projects happening in my district, and I want to thank city staff for keeping me in the loop. I do appreciate that. We had some blighted homes in my district the city has since bought and raised. Those lots, once they're done being seeded and grassed, and they're safe to occupy, will be sold. And then Greveno School in my district has a large construction project going on in front of it. They're resurfacing the road. Have heard from several residents who are concerned about that. So the residents between 75th and 76th Street, the block behind my home, the road there will be resurfaced. The driveway approaches will be redone at the city's expense, as well as most of the sidewalk at the intersection. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Rodriguez. Supervisor Celebre, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I had emailed to the board last week a set of reports from Brookside, and that is to keep everyone in the loop come budget time based on some numbers that we have been getting there of recent. As anyone may believe, the numbers there for both the census as well as income has been reduced for the past year due to the COVID virus. And of recent, the last quarter of figures that were released to us indicate that income at Brookside has been down nearly $1.75 million as of this quarter. And with the reduced census, there also did come a reduced number of patients admitted. So there had been a decline of approximately $350,000 in overtime and supplies that were necessary, but that still leaves Brookside operating in the red by approximately $1.3 million, and that's only for the first quarter. So what they have done is they've applied through the 2020 CARES program, and they were reimbursed for decline in figures there. But they also applied federally for relief funding through the 2021 relief package, and they were declined compensation under that bill because they were informed by federal authorities that the Kenosha County itself has made an application, and the county is being compensated, and it is up to the county as a whole to reimburse Brookside. So eventually the money must come from the executive, county executive, to social services, and then to Brookside to make them whole for the monies for which they qualify. And at this point, there have been no monies released from the exec directly to Brookside, and these numbers reflect the figures which they are down for this quarter. And we were informed that they will be staying in contact, certainly locally as well as on a state and federal level with the representatives, but wanted to prevent any type of sticker shock for the figures that will be submitted come budget time, and wanted to just inform the board of what has been the impact of both the decline in patient clientele as well as the reduced funds that they have received. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Celebre. Any other supervisors wanting? Supervisor Gens, you have the floor.
Is it me? Thank you. Can everybody hear me? Okay. I don't think these speakers are working, but I think it's coming out from the top, so I don't know. We might want to look into that. First, through the chair to the chairman of Public Works, when are the windows going to be replaced in this building?
There's been some discussion about the availability of glass, and it's my understanding that to get the proper glass that we would like in there, it's just very difficult to obtain. So there's been some going back and forth about putting in regular standard duty glass or waiting until the proper item was available. That was my understanding at the last discussion we had maybe a month ago. So I can't give you a specific answer, but I will check into that and I'll get back to you.
Thank you, Supervisor Grady. Also, through the chair to a finance chair, I think we need, on our next finance agenda, to have a Brookside update based on Supervisor Celebre's report. I think we should look at that before budget time. Also, I wanted to comment on joint services. We're going through quite a shakeup there. Next week, we're going to be talking about how we're going to select the next director of joint services. We had a director leave, we had Bev leave, who was like the glue of joint services. So we're really going through some changes there. It's gonna, and we're looking at putting out an RFP for insurance, or having different insurance providers and brokers come in and talk to staff as well. So we're looking at seeing how we can cut money there. There's a lot of things going on, so I just wanted to update the board. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Gunts. Supervisor Belsky, you have the floor.
Thank you. I just wanted to make everybody aware that the July 6th meeting for Human Services Committee, I've asked Director Jansen and Tammy Capito to provide a Budget 101. So if anybody has questions on the second largest budget in the county, please attend that meeting. If we need 2 meetings to answer all the questions, I will request a special meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Belsky. Supervisor Nordigan, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Question through the Chair to Supervisor Grady about Public Works. There are 2 intersections off of County Highway U that are going to be completely redone based off of the improvements that are going on. Highway U at 65 and Highway U at C. Because of Highway 50 being shut down, or not shut down, but significantly reduced, there's a lot more heavy traffic on Highway C. It's not the intention of Public Works to do both those intersections at the same time, is it? Do you know?
I don't believe that's the intent, but I do know that one is a significantly bigger project and one is a significantly smaller project. I can check into that and get back to you.
Yeah, there's so many people that are traveling down both well, it's Q to 165, but also
Right.
C down to 165 right now.
And-
That if both of those intersections get locked up at the same time, we're gonna have a lot of backed up traffic. So I'm hoping that that's not simultaneous.
There is a little bit of detail if you're interested, and that is U and Q, that's the big project. That's
Right.
going to be the one that's going to really take the lion's share of it. On the other one, U and C, it was supposed to only be the east side of U. That was supposed to be just it, and that'd be done. Now, it's come to pass that the property owner on the west side of U would like to be included in this and would like to have the design work and the construction also be available to them. So it kind of puts a little bit different spin on how the whole construction schedule is going to go, because now they have to do their paperwork, their rights-of-way acquisition and so forth, so it's a little bit different. But yeah, I will check into that and I'll try to get a clarification for you.
Terrific, thank you. And then just one more question. On the bicycle wayfinding signs, there are still posts up on Highway C, and I thought those were all supposed to be pulled because they eliminated Highway C.
That was my understanding too.
Okay,
And I
so they're
think
still gonna
that's-
pull those
I think that's
posts.
still supposed to be done, that they're going to pull those out.
Okay, so they just haven't gotten to them all.
That's my understanding.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Supervisor Nordigan. Any other comments? Okay. Moving on to county executive appointments.
County executive appointments.
Yeah, here.
County Executive Appointments, 19, Dominic Pritchett to serve on the Kenosha County Board of Health.
Refer to Human Services Committee.
20, Bill Erickson to serve on the Kenosha County Board of Administrative Appeals.
Refer to Human Services Committee.
21, Gail Gentz to serve on the Kenosha County Board of Administrative Appeals.
Refer to Human Services Committee.
22, Monica Uhas to serve on the Pringle Nature Center Board.
Refer to Public Works.
New business resolution, 1 reading, 17, from the Human Services Committee, a resolution to appoint Supervisor Andy Berg to the Human Services Board. From the Human Services Committee, Belsky, aye. Celebrity, aye. Decker, aye. Gully, aye. Lewis, aye. Berg, abstain. Beth, excused.
Supervisor Belsky.
I move Resolution 17.
I have a motion by Supervisor Belsky and a second by Supervisor Celebrity. Supervisor Belsky.
Yes, Based on Supervisor Andy Berg's qualifications, the Human Services Board approved his appointment, and I ask that this body approves also.
Is there any discussion?
Gabe has, oh, I'm sorry.
Supervisor Nudo?
Yeah, again, I'm going to be voting against this appointment. Also, I'm going to be voting against every single appointment from the county executive. And if the record can show that, it will save a lot of time instead of calling for a roll call every time.
Thank you, Supervisor Nudo. The clerk will make note of that. You will be voting no to the appointments.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No? No.
Motion carries. Supervisor Nudo voted no.
Resolution 18 from the Human Services Committee, a resolution to appoint Ms. Julie Fries to the Kenosha County Commission on Aging and Disability Services. From Human Services Committee, Belsky, I, Berg, I, Celebrity, I, Decker, I, Gully, I, Lewis, I, Beth, excused.
Supervisor Belsky.
I move Resolution 18.
I have a motion by Supervisor Belsky and a second by Supervisor Berg. Supervisor Belsky.
Hi, I'm asking for the, to approve the appointment of Ms. Julie Fries based upon her qualifications. She was unanimously approved by the Human Services Committee.
Okay, we have some discussion. No? I guess not. Okay, sorry, this is a little, okay. Seeing no lights, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion, Supervisor Newt, Andy, you did have your, but it didn't show up on here.
On 17 that I abstained.
I did, it was. Thank you.
Okay. Just so IT knows, some of these lights are not turning green when mics are being turned on. Okay.
Speakers are speaking on the mics. The audio is very poor. We can hear you, we can hear the clerk, but some of the supervisors are not very clear, and I think it's due to the microphone, whatever the adjustments
Thank you,
need to be made.
Supervisor Rose. We'll have IT look into it. I'm hearing the same thing. It sounds like a tin can. It's very hard to hear the words.
Yeah, I'm having a difficult
It's very
time.
mumbly. So if everyone could just speak very loudly for tonight, as loud as you can, we'll do the best we can to get through this meeting.
Did we vote on 18?
Yeah, 18 was voted on.
Resolution 19, from the Human Services Committee, a resolution to appoint Ms. Leah Blau to the Kenosha County Board of Administrative Appeals. From Human Services Committee, Belsky, I, Berg, I, Celebrity, I, Decker, I, Gully, I, Lewis, I, Beth, excused.
Supervisor Belsky.
I move Resolution 19.
I have a motion by Supervisor Belsky and a second by Supervisor Decker. Supervisor Belsky?
I'd like to ask for your approval of Ms. Leah Blau based on her qualifications to the Kenosha Board of Administrative Appeals.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let the record show Supervisor Nudo voted no. Motion carries. Madam Clerk?
Resolution 20, from the Human Services Committee, a resolution to appoint Ms. Pauline Lorenz to the Kenosha County Commission on Aging and Disability Services. From Human Services Committee, Belsky, I, Berg, I, Celebrity, I, Decker, I, Gully, I, Lewis, I, Beth, excused.
Supervisor Belsky.
I move Resolution 20.
I have a motion by Supervisor Belsky and a second by Supervisor Gully. Supervisor Belsky?
I'm asking for your approval on the appointment of Ms. Lorenz to the Kenosha County Commission on Aging and Disability Services. The Human Services Committee voted unanimously.
Supervisor Gully, do you have a comment? All right, seeing no, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Let the record show Supervisor Nudo voted no. Motion passes. Madam Clerk?
Resolution 21 from the Judiciary and Law Enforcement and Finance and Administration Committees, a resolution for the 2021 Grant Award, Wisconsin OJA Multi-Jurisdiction Drug Task Force Grant for CDOG Consortium. From Judiciary and Law Enforcement, Boyd Frederick, I. Celebrity, I. Wamble, I. Belsky, I. Nordigan, I. Palmaville, I. Gully, I. From Finance and Administration Committee, Rose, I. Gentz, I. Ron Frederick, I. Wamble, I. Uhas, I. Franco, I. Kubicki excused.
Supervisor Boyd Frederick.
Move Resolution 21.
I have a motion by Supervisor Boyd Frederick and a second by Supervisor Rose. Supervisor Boyd Frederick.
Out of a grant from the Southeast Wisconsin Drug Operation Consortium, Kenosha County gets $53,140 to the Kenosha County Drug Force Task Force for 2021 to support investigation costs such as informative information, drug buys, purchase of equipment, and telecommunications. There's no additional revenues will increase by $53,140, and there'll be no additional to excess, no additional to the levy.
Okay, any discussion on this? All right, seeing none. This is a budget modification and requires a 2/3 vote. All in favor signify by voting aye on the touchpad. If you're opposed, vote no. Motion passes unanimously.
Ready? Resolution 22 from the Judiciary and Law Enforcement and Finance and Administration Committees, a resolution to request to approve the reappointment of Dr. Thomas Radmer to the Kenosha County Civil Service Commission. From Judiciary and Law Enforcement, Boyd Frederick, I. Celebrity, I. Wamble, I. Belsky, I. Nordigan, I. Palmaville, I. Gully, I. From Finance and Administration Committee, Rose, I. Gentz, I. Ron Frederick, I. Wamble, I. Uhas, I. Franco, I. Kubicki excused.
Supervisor Boyd Frederick, you have the floor.
Move Resolution 22.
I have a motion by Supervisor Boyd Frederick and a second by Supervisor Rose. Supervisor Boyd Frederick.
Dr. Radmer is a longtime member of the Kenosha County Civil Service Commission, and last term he did not miss a meeting.
Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none. All in favor vote aye. Aye. All opposed vote nay. Supervisor Nudo voted no. Motion passes. Madam Clerk.
Resolution 23 from the Judiciary and Law Enforcement Committee, a resolution approving the activity control license for Country Thunder East LLC. From Judiciary and Law Enforcement, Boyd Frederick, I. Celebrity, I. Wamble, I. Belsky, I. Nordigan, I. Palmaville, I. Gully, I.
Supervisor Boyd Frederick.
Move Resolution 23.
I have a motion by Supervisor Boyd Frederick and a second by Supervisor Wambold. Supervisor Boyd Frederick.
Thank you. This went through our committee unanimously. There was lots of questions to Dr. Freiheit when it came to COVID and what she was able to talk to Kim Blevins about when it came to social distancing and that. I believe she's here this evening. If you have any questions about that, but I recommend that we put this through, and with everything going on with ballparks filling up, it lets Country Thunders go on as every other event is going on in America. Thank you.
Supervisor Rose, is your light on? Okay, thank you. Supervisor Rose, you have the floor.
Thank you. I would like to have a report from the Dr. Freiheit on what she told the committee, what her recommendations are to the board, if any.
Dr. Freiheit, please come up to the podium, please. No, and your light's on.
Health Director. What I basically said was on a scale of low risk to high risk, yes, Country Thunder is a higher risk event, given that many people are coming from out of state, places where we don't know their vaccination rates, people camping on site for 3 days at a time in very close quarters. It is a higher risk event. However, for Kenosha County, our numbers are decreasing. We finally have over 2 weeks of all of our metrics are now on the decline. That's the first time since this whole pandemic began, but that of course is just Kenosha County residents. Have had a discussion with Kim from Country Thunder, and I'm pleased with some of the things they're putting in place. They will have social media posts. They will send out several newsletters to all of their ticket holders, and they'll put messaging on their website starting tomorrow, encouraging people to get vaccinated. They will ask vaccinated patrons to show their vaccination card at the information booth on site for a chance to win a guitar signed by all the artists performing at the event, and they will also offer on-stage seating for the headline act for 2 people each day of the event. So these are good promotions to promote vaccination ahead of time. They'll have COVID messaging on site through signage and Jumbotron images. They'll have plenty of hand sanitizer throughout, and they are enlarging the main walking entrance as requested to space people out better there. So again, while it's not the safest event, I'm pleased with what they are putting in place to help promote vaccination and make people safer while there.
Thank you, Dr. Freiheit. Supervisor Rose?
No, nothing further. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no lights on, we will take a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk?
Resolution 24 from the Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee, a resolution to approve the appointment of John O'Day to the Kenosha County Land Information Council. From Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee, Gashke, aye. Beth, aye. Rodriguez, aye. Nudo, nay. Mauer, excused.
Supervisor Gashke?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move Resolution 24.
I have a motion by Supervisor Gashke and a second by Supervisor Beth. Supervisor Gashke?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Our committee has approved Chair O'Day to serve another 4-year term to be reappointed to the Land Information Council. Given his personal and professional background, we believe he would be a continued asset to this committee and ask for your approval tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Gashke. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor vote aye. 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 Opposed? No. Let the record show Supervisor Nudo voted no. Motion passes. Madam Clerk?
Resolution 25 from the Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee, a resolution to approve the reappointment of Barbara Ford to the Kenosha County Zoning Board of Adjustments. Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee, Gashke, aye. Beth, aye. Rodriguez, aye. Nudo, nay. Mauer, excused.
Supervisor Gashke, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move Resolution 25.
I have a motion by Supervisor Gashke and a second by Supervisor Rodriguez. Supervisor Gashke?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, our committee, Planning and Development and Extension Education, has approved Barbara Ford's reappointment for another 3-year term to the Zoning Board of Adjustments. Given her professional and personal background, we believe she would continue to serve well in this role, and we ask for your support tonight.
Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor, please vote aye. 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 Opposed? No. Let the record show Supervisor Nudo voted no. Motion passes. Madam Clerk?
Resolution 26 from the Public Works Facilities Committee, a resolution to appoint Jeffrey J. Marks to serve on the Kenosha County Traffic Safety Commission. From Public Works and Facilities Committee, Grady, aye. Franco, aye. Belsky, aye. Berg, aye. Palmaville, aye. Nudo, nay. Rodriguez, excused.
Supervisor Grady, you have the floor.
Move resolution number 26.
I have a motion by Supervisor Grady and a second by Supervisor Franco. Supervisor Grady?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Marks appeared before us at our last meeting at Public Works. It's notable that in his resume, he is the transportation supervisor for KUSD, so it's a good credential. It passed our committee. We ask your approval this evening.
Okay, is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. 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 Opposed? Let the record show Supervisor Nudo voted no. Motion passes. Madam Clerk?
Resolution 27 from the Public Works and Facilities Committee, a resolution to reappoint Patrice Hall to the Kenosha County Traffic Safety Commission. From Public Works and Facilities, Grady, I. Franco, I. Belsky, I. Berg, I. Palmaville, I. Nudo, nay. Rodriguez, excused.
Supervisor Grady, you have the floor.
Move resolution number 27.
I have a motion by Supervisor Grady and a second by Supervisor Belsky. Supervisor Grady?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a reappointment. Dr. Patrice Hall, who has served in this capacity before, is willing to do it again. Passed our committee. We ask your approval this evening.
Is there any discussion? Supervisor Rose?
Yes, this, as well as some of the other appointments, did not include the biographical sketch. I think we brought this up before. That should always be attached, even if we know someone like Ms. Hall, who's works for Kenosha County, and the prior appointment did not include a biographical sketch. I think we all ought to be informed as to all of the appointees. Some of the biographical sketches were included with the appointments, others were not. I believe all should be included at all times. Why aren't they?
Thank you, Supervisor Rose. Reggie? Could the clerk answer that?
It may be, I don't know if the original appointments that were forwarded to the committees or that were referred to the committees did not have the biographical sketch that you're speaking of. What is posted and what you see on the website is what is forwarded to us that went through committee.
Well, I would ask, Chair, if you would in the future, or Mr. O'Day, if he is presiding, make sure that we all receive that biographical sketch at the same time so we can more intelligently vote on the issue.
Noted, Supervisor Rose. Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Supervisor Nudo voted no. Let the record reflect that. Communications?
Communications 3, communications from Andy M. Bueller regarding future items scheduled before the Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee.
Receive and file.
Claims 2, Dina Perini Menzer, vehicle damage.
Refer to Corporation Council.
3, Scott James Weeble, vehicle damage.
Refer to Corporation Council.
4, James Robert Frisco, vehicle damage.
Refer to Corporation Council.
5, Joshua James Mueller, personal property loss.
Refer to Corporation Council.
The approval of the May 18th,
Yeah, it's not, I apologize, it's not. Okay, we'll go back to item 6 regarding Joshua James Mueller,
I think it's item 5.
or number,
Item 5, Joshua James Mueller, personal property loss.
mine says 6 too. Oh,
Okay.
Council, I know you don't like to comment on this, but if somebody, yourself or somebody from your office could give me a call regarding this, on where we stand with the accusations in that claim? Okay. Thank you. That's all. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Rodriguez. Madam Clerk?
Approval of the May 18th, 2021 minutes by Supervisor Celebry. It would be the approval of the Committee of the Whole minutes and the regular board meeting minutes.
Supervisor Celebry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So moved, please.
I have a motion by Supervisor Celebry, a second by Supervisor Rodriguez to approve the minutes. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Do I have a motion to adjourn? A motion by Supervisor Rodriguez, a second by Supervisor Berg. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. We are adjourned. Have a good evening, everyone.